Talk 1 2. 1 2. Hey hey 5 6.
All right. Corbett, try to whistle. Yeah, that's good.
Whenever I whistle, it's always breathing in because out I can't do. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yup.
yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah, it is buzzing. I can hear it. Actually, we can't hear it through the headphones, but I can hear it outside of it.
Mhm.
Which one?
All right. Yeah, I'm right here, Sam. All right.
All right. All right. So, welcome to episode 1 of PN and PC.
Mhm.
I'm I'm your co-host Paul Corbett, and this is Paul Narowski,
Mm.
the other co-host.
All right. Yep.
So, what's the first thing we'll talk about? You know what? I'm not gonna copy what we did with Ryan with A to Z Band. So, hmm.
Yeah, 'cause Ryan's not here right now.
No, he's not. So, and he did A to Z Band. So I'm trying to think of the first topic. You know what? Hmm.
Any ideas, or
Let's
are you
see.
trying to think?
Trying to think. Trying to
Yeah.
think. See any movies recently?
Um, you mean in the theaters?
Yeah, that'll work.
Well, I heard about this movie called Sound of Freedom, and I heard it was supposed to be like the best, but I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, the last thing I saw in theaters was I think it was Flash like a month or two ago, and I've been hearing all about Oppenheimer and Barbie. That's like the main thing I want to go see.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's the first thing that came to my thought was movies, of course. The most small talk, boring crap on the planet. um, here, hmm. Hear any new music recently?
um, yeah, not that I know of. No.
Yeah, kind of same. I heard I hear a lot of new stuff weekly through my Spotify playlist, and I just kind of forget what it is always.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, like when I work with when I work where I work, like it definitely does help to discover some stuff with like artists I've never heard of with concerts and stuff. It can get pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it does.
I mean, Islander games are pretty easy, self-explanatory when it comes to sports, but
Yeah, it does.
yeah, and those are pretty exciting at times.
Mhm.
So, something I wanted to ask you guys is how long have you known each other for?
All right, so I've known Paul must have been about 13, 14 years, I think, something like that. We met at Camp Anchor when we were younger.
Yeah.
Must have been '09 maybe. '08. I don't exactly remember the exact
Nah,
date.
it was like during the. It was like during like the summer, like the fall, the winter, spring program on the regular set of anchor programs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been about 2006, 2007 maybe.
Yeah, that was like during that was like 2005 to 2006.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was 8 years old back then. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
you were.
Yep. And
Then a year later, and then I this saw like Michael Lord did. He's another one that went to Camp Anchor.
yeah, yeah, a lot of Wayfinder clients actually went to Camp Anchor.
Mhm.
Like I'd say that Paul is the main one I remember. Same with Mikey Pizza and Sarah Beloden and Sarah for example.
Oh yeah, yeah, Sarah Belton.
Yeah, Beloden I think is how I pronounce it. See, yeah, like I'd say that maybe the only one I was in group. I remember being in a group with is Paul. But I think I was in maybe a group or two with Danielle back in the day. It's been a while.
Oh,
Yeah, I stopped going to Anchor around 2013, 2012. Oh, it was 2012 I stopped going. I felt like like they were telling us, oh, you can't take more than 2 days off, and I take 1 week off every year for scout camp. So
oh,
I
that's
think
good. That's nice.
yeah, that was more important to me at the time.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I haven't gone to many other programs since.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you stopped going to Anchor? The question is for both of you.
I was I was 16 years old. It was 2012.
And I stopped going. I stopped doing the summer programs when I was 22. Now I'm doing the regular. Now I'm doing the adult Saturday trips now.
Gotcha. My little sister does the drama stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right, that's actually something that I want to know, Paul. What are the adult Saturday trips?
Usually yeah, we like go out in the community, stuff like that. They like go on field trips.
As I've
Yeah,
heard.
and
Continue. Sorry.
that's alright. Well, sometimes they usually have like yeah, they usually have like an event there if they want us to stay at the recreation center.
Okay, that's that was the building that they spent years built. That was the building that they had the fund for years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, like I'd say the Saturday program we had when we were kids was
Yeah.
and I think it was at Rosemary Kennedy if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a place. It was a BOCES school in Wansaw that they did it out of, and I think pretty much it was twice a month if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was twice. It was twice a month, and we used to go on, and we usually go on trips for the most part.
Yeah.
Like I will say, it was the only time where we didn't have to wear a camp shirt or anything.
Yeah, I remember that time.
I can definitely tell a lot that fewer people were interested at the time,
Mhm.
because like why would they want to spend their Saturday doing that? Like, kid me was like, all right, whatever. But around the time I was like 14, I started getting bored of it immediately.
Oh man.
So yeah, I stopped going to summer to winter programs, and I think it was 2011. I was 14 years old. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. I remember. I also remember I was telling one of the teachers at my house, one of the skills teacher at my high school. I was in inclusion, but I met the guy. I've known the guy from Anchor, and we actually had a conversation about that. He's like, "Getting too old, right?" I'm like, "You're right,
Yeah.
Devin." Fun times as always.
So, when was the last time you had the Saturday adult group thing, and what did you do during it?
Oh yeah, my last day there is the last time I went there. Yeah, we had the last day was like at May, and we went on that trip. It was like to Yankee Stadium.
That was this month?
No, that was back in May.
May, okay, that's before the Mets and Yankees were doing really bad. It probably
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to consider maybe going to like a Met game back in the day, but you know what? If I wanted to go to a ball game, I'd probably go by myself or with family.
Yeah, good idea.
And yeah, I think probably the most fun I've had at Anchor growing up was yeah, I always really enjoyed certain trips. When
Yeah.
when I was a kid, the what was that what was that what was that bouncy house place?
You mean like Bounce You?
Exactly, Bounce You. That was always the most fun thing ever.
Yeah.
Even when I was like 15, when you, like 15, you think like, oh, you're supposed to be done with this. Nope. I remember having fun with that. I still had a childhood heart at 15 years old, if you could believe that. I kind
Yeah.
of have one now, but not sure if I have the same energy to do that type of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also every single rain day, we would go see a movie.
Yeah, I remember that time.
Oh my god, I remember it was Space Chimps came out, and we were like all went in with like maybe like 20 minutes left in the movie, and it was complete torture, man. It was like
Yeah.
I went in there like all confused. I'm like, why were we watching the end of this movie? Of course, I watched it later and found out it was terrible, but
Yeah, it was.
happens every time. And there was another time we went to go see Transformers in the Long Beach movie theater like years ago. And I remember the projector broke. Probably for the best because early Michael Bay Transformers not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff you find out years later, man.
Mhm.
And let's see, trying to remember what else I've done with Anchor. And like, I really do think that a lot of this Anchor stuff it's great and all,
Yeah.
but I'll say most of it was when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
As an adult, like I don't know if I really need this anymore. And it was also really nice reconnecting with Paul.
Yeah, it was.
The same first name, we can't forget each other.
No. Nope.
So, since you guys known each other so long, what's some other stuff that you guys know about each other that others might not be aware of or might not know?
All right. Now you're really putting us on the spot. Like I know we're both on the autism spectrum, and that's
Yeah.
probably why we're in Wayfinder Tribe and through Anchor and stuff. Is there anything that might not know? Trap. You get me thinking. You have anything, Paul?
Yeah, not that I know of. No.
Yeah, definitely not. It's not. I mean, it's like I wouldn't say we're like the greatest friends on the planet or anything, but we're definitely very friendly towards each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's not like not like, I mean, I could have probably gone to his birthday last week, but I was house sitting out in Islip, and that would have been a real trip for me since I don't drive. But yeah, like there's nothing I can think of at the current moment. Maybe later on down the line, it definitely could be. Oh, we took this photography class together, but that's about it.
Yeah. And I remember that John Leonard has been like doing the adult Saturday program as well.
Yeah, that's a very good friend of my sister's.
Yeah, I figured.
Yep, I have had him over at my house plenty of times because he's hanging out with my sister.
Ah, nice. That's nice.
Yep.
Is your sister on the spectrum too, Paul?
Yep, and we both identify that way, and that's something that's a very tight connection we have. And yeah, I tried to get her in the Wayfinder, and it's like she didn't get the self-direction stuff when she was 21, and she's not sure if she can get it at 25, and I've been trying to push her to do this stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to get her to hang out with the peers.
My God.
That's good to hear, and that's something that you both relate on because you both have siblings that are, I don't know if they're older or younger,
Yeah.
but they're on the spectrum. Both of you have other siblings as
Yeah.
well as both
Yeah, that's
being
true.
on the spectrum as well.
I mean, yes, we both do, and I'd say that there's definitely some track in my family. I can't confirm. I don't quite know about any of my parents, but I definitely had an uncle. I had a great uncle who was on the spectrum. It was before they figured out what autism was, of course.
Holy Jesus.
But yeah, like I have a feeling that since my theory is that it's genetic, it might get passed down. I've definitely noticed that in families with certain behaviors.
I don't know. It was like that.
It's just speculation on my part mostly.
Oh.
There's a lot of studies and stuff. I don't know if I have the patience to read through papers or the knowledge to read through papers like that. But it's more you learn.
Yeah. That's true.
And there's something that people on the spectrum, like, we can the things. There's certain things where I got evaluated to drive when I was 18. The evaluator wasn't sure, so I've not been behind the wheel of the car since 2015 because of that.
Oh my God.
Is there a limit on independence there? Yes, but you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, so trying to yeah, and other than that, man, like it's a very strong connection, and yeah, I tell you, it's also social situations are not the easiest for me. Like waiting on lines and stuff is waiting on lines is just like kind of gets me anxious. I've gotten over it, but it's definitely still there.
Could you elaborate on that a little? Do you know why, or is it just you get the feeling of anxiousness and that's pretty much it?
I mean, well, here's the thing, right? My feeling is that it's a very you have to wait a while, and there's a lot of people in front of you, so you don't know what's gonna happen, and that's really where the anxiety comes in. Is there any further than that? I don't know, man. There's probably some way to elaborate, but I really can't do it at the moment.
No, I get what you mean. That's where most anxiety comes from is unpredictability of a situation.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So that's where it comes from. But for the most part, like when it comes to other unpredictable circumstances that I've experienced before, I can kind of get through that. It's just specifically things like lines and things that require waiting a while. That's where patience comes into play.
Yeah.
I'll say when I was a kid, it was definitely a lot better. As I've gotten older with more experiences, it's like sometimes it's not really worth it. Other times, it definitely is. Like with Comic Con, for example, I got used to the lines because, like, you know what, I knew at the end of the day, I'd be walking out with something. Granted, it would be sometimes an hour, so I don't really go to celebrity meet and greets because of that. And also, I'm not spending an extra like $100+ just to wait on another line. Which comic book conventions, if you want to do all the celebrity meet and greets and stuff like that, it's effectively line simulator. Which, if you have the patience for that, it's a virtue. If you don't, try hitting up the main floor and guests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're just talking about celebrity meet and greets. So, Nurowski, have you ever met a celebrity or anyone that you find interesting that's has popularity? And same question to you, Corbett.
I'll let Paul start first, and then I'll tell you right after.
Yeah. Well, I saw like a couple of actors when they were doing that show that show Gravesend from that was like at the Floral Terrace, like on Jericho Turnpike, not too long ago. It was like maybe like 2 months ago, I guess.
Was that during Guys Night when they're holding that like mini red carpet event?
Yeah.
And we saw that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
okay.
it was about.
Yeah, gotcha. So to answer that question, I've seen while my line of work when it comes to when it came to wrestling events at the National Coliseum at the time, they would always have their like dressing and eating and fitting rooms and all that, and eating and their meal rooms and stuff like that, all near the employee locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So I've walked along like wrestlers, like all these, and they did the first debut event. So I walked along like Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey. That was pretty cool. Another time I've really met somebody famous, I was around 12, 13, and I was at a Wounded Warrior event at the Knights of Columbus. I actually met the guy who played Tony Cicero, the guy who played Paulie One-Ups in The Sopranos, and my mom was telling me about it. Like I was a kid at the time, so I didn't really quite understand what the show was or what it was about.
Yeah.
Of course, during the pandemic, when HBO Max comes out,
Mm-hmm.
I watched Sopranos, like binge watched it, and I'm like, you know what? All of my parents' generation was correct about The Sopranos, and
Yeah, exactly.
and I loved it. And then he passed like shortly after I watched it, and I'm like, oh man, this is something else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it was cool. And when I met him, he had the hair, the one hair I'm talking about with the freaking eagle wings or whatever.
Yeah, I
Man.
remember.
That was surely a time.
Yep,
And yeah, it was pretty cool.
it was.
Trying to think what else. I may have walked past. I think I walked past Paul McCartney one time at the Coliseum many moons ago. It was maybe a guy that looked like him. That's probably more
alright.
likely. Man, there's like so many cases with concerts. Like I've met so many people, but at the same time, when I'm working,
Yeah.
there's some fortunate situations where I don't get to really see the show, or there's sometimes where I don't get to hear it, which is like a really big like sad thing.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Like for, I think it was trying to think. There's like many concerts I got to hear that I got were nice. I got to see a few, but naturally, actually I didn't really get to see a few because I'm not really allowed to.
Oh yeah.
That's a wink wink, but yeah. So I will say I've seen Foo Fighters twice, which was great. I've seen
Yeah.
Metallica once, which is amazing. All working. I've seen basically almost every single. Oh,
Yeah.
good portion of classic rock bands that are still around because they always tour for the summer. And I've been to multiple concerts and yeah, multiple festivals. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I certainly miss a lot of the festival stuff. Like I miss Warped Tour, for example. That was a freaking time. You know.
And there's also another thing. Tomorrow I'm also doing like bucking drumming. Because they gave me a day off from work.
Oh, nice.
And I usually work on Wednesdays. Yeah.
All right, you're doing the bucket drumming. That's cool.
Yeah. Cause the first time I did it was on a Wednesday, and that was like a week before my vacation started. My whole family went to North Carolina.
Nice, nice. I'm actually planning on going to Texas in a couple of months with my friends getting married, and I actually just booked the Airbnb last night.
Oh,
and
nice.
Booked the flight 3 weeks ago now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was quite the expense, but you know what? It's gonna be worth it, man. First time being there with my friends, and one of my first times going away for a week away from my family. That's not like a camping trip or something. Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Who's your friend, Paul Corbett?
My friend that's getting married.
Yeah.
His name is Gabe. We went to high school. We went to high school together. He was very cool in the friend group. I met him in my freshman year, but we really got close in the sophomore year. I'd say with my brother and my other friends, he's closer to. But you know what? Got to visit him in Texas. He moved there from Buffalo about 2 years ago, I think. I could be wrong about that. I gotta ask him about that. But you know what? It's gonna be a great time. He's getting married to a girl he met in college, and I met her, I think, once when they were here. Yeah, once. And it's gonna be a good time. And he lives in the Austin area. Not gonna tell you exactly where for obvious reasons, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure it will for you.
Yeah, and backtrack to your trip, Paul. How did that go for you?
Oh, it went amazing. I went in the pool a couple of times.
Are there any like theme parks in the area or something you did while?
No. Well, there was like this boat trip that like half the family we planned to, but there was gonna be but I heard like a rumor there was gonna be some rain there, so they canceled it.
Oh, so that was the only thing you had planned. You couldn't do it. Excuse me. That would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think there was one time where there's times where I've gone on vacations. I make sure I can do like more than one thing, no matter what it is. Because going in the pool and the beach all the time is nice, but I gotta make it somewhat memorable because I have the Atlantic Ocean that's 5 minutes from my house, and pools, public pools, but I feel like there's something that I have to do in a certain area that I wouldn't be able to do here.
Yeah.
What was that like the airboat tour in Florida where they take you throughout like the swamplands and you see like alligators and stuff?
I'm sure. But we also did like something else, and we took another trip there. Like we saw some horses. And that was like it.
Where was that? The horses.
Which ocean?
The horses, where you see the horses. Were they wild horses or?
Yes, not wild, almost like quiet horses.
Okay, so they were domesticated horses in the farm.
like when I was there, they didn't have like a farm or anything.
Okay. It's like a stable or two.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yep.
Like I actually worked the Belmont. I worked but one year I actually worked the Belmont Stakes, and I saw a lot of these horses that were racing. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like the job itself was a little boring for my taste, so I didn't really go
Oh.
back. And I think I had something else going on for the last 2 years, so I just never did it again.
Oh.
Things happen in life, you know.
Yeah, it does.
And yeah. So Are you planning on traveling anytime soon, Paul? To another place?
Yeah, hopefully.
Like I'm trying to maybe visit national parks or something like that because I've never got to.
Oh, that's nice.
I also should, maybe go to like my dad, see my dad's family in Ireland, or
Oh.
go to Japan because I love, Japanese stuff, as most American nerds love, like anime and
Yeah.
like, video games and the occasional card game and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anywhere you'd like to go, Paul, that you've never been?
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh, and and California.
California is on my list too. Pittsburgh, I went on a trip to Ohio one time for a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, a really big one, and we took a Greyhound, and one of the big stops we had to make at 6 o'clock in the morning was Pittsburgh. When we left, we left Port Authority around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Yeah, that was a long trip. I don't recommend doing Greyhound ever again. That was certainly something.
Nierowski, what about somewhere outside of the States, like maybe somewhere in Europe or Asia or like a different continent?
Yeah, Europe.
Well, where in Europe specifically? Do you have any countries?
Like probably like a Czechoslovakia or Hungary.
Any particular reason?
Not really. Not that I know of.
Like, the reason why I want to visit Ireland so much because it's my grandmother's from there, and at least 50% of my family heritage traces back to it.
Yeah.
It's probably more than that in hindsight, because what a lot of us Americans are is like the ultimate mix. So like you really can't trace that.
Yeah, my ancestors were like from Poland.
Would you like to go to Poland someday?
Yeah, probably. If I have the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can kind of tell through the last name. And yeah, so trying to think where else I want to go. But yeah, like mostly Ireland and Japan are like two places I want to go to. But England is a place I considered. France definitely. Italy just to try real pizza, or could I call it real Italian pizza, or like real Italian food.
Yeah.
It's like I want to see how much of the stuff we eat is truly Americanized or like legit. Kind of like how American Chinese food is just effectively Thai food.
Yeah.
That's yeah. It's like I really want to know.
Yeah, and the reason why I said I wanted to visit California, because they have the Alcatraz prison there. I wanted to visit that.
Yeah, that's where they put Al Capone for tax evasion. Of course, that's what they catch him for.
Yeah.
And Alcatraz is definitely something I'd want to see.
Yeah. And I heard they had also like a criminal named Frank Moses who escaped there one time, and they couldn't find the body, which was like almost like 60 years ago.
Definitely, like outside of Alcatraz is literally surrounded by, I think it's San Francisco Bay.
Yeah.
So like, and that's like that would be like at least a 3-mile swim, which most people are not able to do, especially if you're like in prison in those conditions.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd be able to do a 3-mile swim right now, and I'm in decent shape.
Yeah. No, I know.
We got 5 minutes, so.